Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In the media, they have now released the name of the engineer who supposedly derailed the train in Philadelphia, driving 106 instead of 50. His name is Brandon Bostian. In the images, he looks quite young for a train engineer. But this name has a gematria of 67, Truth Seeker. And as I've said in all my video posts, this incident is connected to the book of Revelation. The numbers of Revelation are 49, 67, and 121. And with each new detail, we find how these numbers are coded within. His name has the gematria. What else is creepy, Truth Seeker, is that Revelation, it has 404 verses and 22 chapters. If you multiply 404 times 22, you get 8,888. Remember, this was train 188. Recall the plane crashes last year, Truth Seeker, the missing planes, the crash in Ukraine. If you take the numbers of those three flight stories, it also sums to 8,888. And we'll talk more about MH17 specifically because it matches up perfectly with the Bible. Notice also that the name Brandon Bostian in English gematria sums to 888. Okay, so we've established how his name connects with Revelation. If you haven't seen my other posts, please watch them. This will be a lot more convincing. You have to see how the whole picture comes together. I'm just doing post by post as they release details because I can tell this is going to be a big story for a while. This story's going places. So anyway, last year on July 17th, there was a crash in Ukraine. It was said a plane was shot down. It was said it was the worst plane disaster since September 11th. Well, if you looked up this plane's stats, it was the 84th of these planes ever made by Boeing. And it first flew on July 17th, 1997, a date with 121 numerology, Truth Seeker, like the number of Revelation. And it crashed exactly 17 years later to the day, July 17th, 2014. Why is that creepy? Because in the Bible, Genesis 8:4, the beginning of the Bible, remember, Revelation's based on the first 39 books of the Bible. So Genesis, beginning and last, have a connection. But Genesis 8:4, and remember, this plane was the 84th of these ever produced. It said, and on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. This plane came to rest on the 17th day of the 7th month, Truth Seeker. It was the 84th Boeing ever produced. Boeing equals 113 in Jewish gematria. These companies, they're all part of this same monster. What's interesting is the wreck in Philadelphia was on the 132nd day of the year. And look, this span of days that I tracked in the crashes, that same number came up, 132. They continue to repeat these numbers. The first Boeing 777 to ever fly flew on 6-7, Truth Seeker. 6-7, 67, like Revelation. Let's watch the news coverage real quick on this guy, Brandon Bostian. Little CNN footage real quick. See how the mainstream presents it. Compare, contrast with the information I'm dropping. While this commercial's going on, let's take a commercial break to laugh at this victim. Remember, I've showed all the 93 coding in this. The number of Thelema, the number of do what thou wilt. Even lie about train wrecks. Robert Gildersleeve. Ever heard of a name like that? 93-old Robert Gildersleeve with a 33 coded as well. Alright, here we go, Truth Seeker. Get some volume.
Yeah, Brandon Bostian.
Rewind.
The man at the center of this is that engineer. You have now learned his name. You have learned something very, very crucial.
Yeah, Brandon Bostian, he is from Queens, New York. We do know that the police here in Philadelphia tried to speak with him, tried to talk with him, tried to question him. He refused. He has an attorney. The NTSB was a little more mild on that point. They said that they can talk to him once the emotions of this event turn over. But we do know, Aaron, that according to his LinkedIn account, he's been an engineer with Amtrak for a little more than 4 years. Before that, he was a conductor with Amtrak. It's described, just a generic description from some of his neighbors. But he, because he was driving this train, is now the focus of this investigation.
We have a picture of him here that you were able to obtain right now, Drew. Obviously, this is him outside of his work uniform, but that is Brandon Bostian, everyone that you're looking at next to me, the engineer who should have been at the controls in charge of the speed of the train at the time of impact.
Pythagorean gematria in Missouri is 42. Tigers is 33. Just want to throw that out there.
Drew, as you mentioned, though, when he was called in for questioning by...
And a lot of people have been mentioning that they're noticing yellow in these psyops. A little more yellow right here. I'm not sure what it means, but it is true. There has been a lot of yellow lately. Also, look at what we got going on in the background. Maybe somebody with better eyes can make out what that says. All right.
Police today, it didn't seem that he was cooperating.
Yeah, he wasn't cooperating. That's according to the Philadelphia police. They brought him into the detectives division. He refused to answer their questions. He did have an attorney with him. And that got a very strong reaction from the mayor of this town, who was squarely wants at least the engineer of this train who caused all this to answer the questions.
Clearly, he was reckless and irresponsible.
If you haven't seen my other post, Truth Seeker, this man right here, he's got the OEM hat on. 15 plus 5 plus 13 equals 33. Today is May 13th, 2015. 5 plus 13 plus 15 is 33. He's got on this Clinton t-shirt. Clinton has a gematria of 33. You see what's up? The name Michael Anthony Nutter, his full name, sums to 93, the number of Thelema, like that phony baloney guy who supposedly died on the train. Michael Nutter sums to 59, the number coded all over black men. I can't say it enough. We need to get this word out. Even these numbers back here in the background are suspicious. Remember, there's a reason they have all this stuff in the shot. All right, here we go.
In his actions, I don't know what was going on with him. I don't know what was going on in the cab, but there's really no excuse that could be offered.
They need to talk to him for many reasons. There may be excuse. There might have been a mechanical issue that he was dealing with. We really don't know that right now, although all indications are.
Drew Griffin sums to 74, but notice the initials D, the fourth letter, G, the seventh. 4-7 initials, a name that sums to 74. The word Masonic is 74. Everything is just so coded, Truth Seeker. For those of you who are starting to think we live in a computer simulation, don't think that way. We don't. It's these people who have us living in this false matrix. You take away all this, we live back in the natural world. They want us to think we live in a matrix. Joe Rogan sold the nation that storyline. It's really taken fire. Oh, man. Look at this mangled train. If this happened for real, everybody would be dead. Truth Seeker, 100 miles per hour, metal, no seatbelts. It would be a mess. They're just laughing at us. Laughing at us. Let's finish it up.
Our speed was the problem. Aaron, they'll also be looking at what was in his physical body and his system, whether he was on the phone, was he asleep, along with all the other things they're going to be looking at, including track conditions and anything on the track that might have happened. But again, it was that speed, 100.
And again, Truth Seeker, this story, the reason they hoax us with this is because they have an agenda to roll out on this. They'll go back to this in the political debates coming up, saying how we need to upgrade infrastructure, which we do. But we don't need to be hoaxed to get there, We shouldn't have to go on back of a lie to get something through. So there's always this ulterior motive. They'll probably get more security. They'll probably go to robotic trains that we don't have to worry about pilot error. All these stories are about pilot error. Pilots on their cell phones. All sorts of nonsense. making it a more robotic world day by day.
6 miles an hour into an area where he should have only been going 50. It seems the engineer is the one person who can answer the question as to why right now he's not
Remember, train 188.
answering anything.
And right now he's not answering anything. Probably because he's not a real person. So anyway, Truth Seeker, we've been getting some really coded stories. They truly all do tie to Revelation. How do I explain this? You know, the book arrogantly says that the synagogue of Satan will rule in the end times. And I think we're living in the end times. That said, I think the end times could be a period of years that last another 500 years, you know? The end times might be a long, miserable time left yet. Because right now they're moving through an agenda through piece by piece. But they are foreshadowing something nasty coming ahead for us. The United States is overdue for a tragedy. Parts of this world have suffered. This nation itself went through a genocide to get the Europeans here. Russia, Armenia, they've suffered genocides. I don't know if Europe really suffered any genocides in World War II. I think mostly that was a bunch of hype. Sold to you by the synagogue of Satan. Truth Seeker, the Bible's original accredited publishing date, the most recognized one, is March 22nd. Who do you think edited that text? People say, well, if they made the book, why would they out themselves? So exactly you would say that. These people are so arrogant, they'll just put it all right in front of your face and laugh at you the whole time, just like they do now. A lot of you are awake, but I'm not sure you're all the way awake. And I'm not sure I'm all the way awake either, you know? Who knows? I could be missing a lot. Maybe I'm hardly awake too. Probably always more room to be awake. But anyway, Brandon Bostian, he's got the revelation numbers, Truth Seeker, just like everybody in this story. Just like the plane stories. Planes, trains, what's coming up for automobiles. Maybe that's the media story we get bombarded with a few years from now. Lone wolf terrorists blowing up their cars in the middle of the freeway. I certainly hope not. But you never know, man. They're taking us somewhere, and the longer we don't stop this, the crazier it gets. So I'll wrap it up with that. Until next time, Truth Seeker. Encore, Truth Seeker. Just for good measure, this is CNN's front page right now. Twice the speed limit. Check out the gematria on this, Truth Seeker. Relentless. Twice the speed limit. Pythagorean gematria, 88. We just talked about all the 888 connections. Train 188. This is why I teach gematria. This stuff is undeniable. If you think it's all a coincidence, I don't know what to say. All right. Till next time.